Minnesota. We'll have the highlights. And we'll look ahead and scout the homecoming battle against Illinois. All that and more coming up next. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by The Joy of Pepsi and by Big Boy Restaurants. Big Boy makes you say, oh boy.
Gentlemen, I've never been through anything like that. You gave all the coaches a gift that is priceless. Because, we always talk about fighting through adversity. It's a hell of a lot easier to talk about than it is to go through it. And it's a hell of a lot easier to talk about not through it. We just got to keep fighting. That's easy to say, but it's damn hard to do. I love every one of you.
What a great scene. It's a Michigan Replay exclusive in the locker room after a stirring 38-35 victory in Minneapolis over the Minnesota Golden Gophers. The jug remains in Ann Arbor.
A little brown jug.
You got a little emotional there.
Yeah, well, we went up there twice in a row, Jim. That's a hard place to play, and this is the best Minnesota football team that I've played against in a long time.
And this win was so huge. I don't know whether we can say how huge it was, but with all the adversity, with all the adversity that this team has undergone over the past week, to go up there under those circumstances, get off to a tough start, and have everything against you and still come back. It's just remarkable.
Well, we didn't play very well in the first half, and then we put ourselves in a position where we looked like we were out of it. But there are so many plays in this game, Jim, that without them, we don't win. And so you talk about a total team victory. This was Michigan football the way we would like to represent it.
In your first game, you were the head coach. You got back from 17 down late. Have you ever been involved in one like this? The biggest comeback in Michigan football history?
No.
And you don't ever want to be in another one, do you?
Well, if we get behind that far, I wouldn't mind it, but I wouldn't want to do it on a weekly basis.
And the thing that you got to talk about is the character of this team. Never did they decide it was over. They just stayed with it.
Jim, we went into this game really flat, and Minnesota is really a good football team, which I think we'll see before this season's over. But we were flat, I guess. You can
little
call
hungover from the week before.
Well, I think I don't like to use the word hungover because it has nothing to do with alcohol.
Yeah,
it's just that. Our disappointment, I think, of the kids and of everybody in our program, it was big, and sometimes that's what it takes to snap out of it. We found ourselves really in the hole at halftime and played very poorly.
Well, you snapped out of it in a big way. A great victory in Minneapolis. We'll come back and take a look at those highlights. But first, we hear from Chris Perry, who says even with the slow start, nobody ever gave up.
Well, it was real frustrating, but we talk about never quitting. We talk about coming out and making plays, and that's what we did tonight. We came out and we made plays.
Chevrolet Locker Room Report.
Our defense stepped up. We was on the sideline telling everybody to get up. Offense was cheering us on, and what more can I say?
Well, we go to Minneapolis for the first half highlights of the Michigan victory on Friday night over Minnesota, 38-35. And really, the last thing you could do is get a slow start, and that's what happened.
Well, Jim, the sellout in the Metrodome, we got off to a good start. On our first drive, Minnesota deferred the toss. We took the opening kickoff, got good field position there on the sweep. We get across midfield, and then we get bogged down, and John, we use him as a punter, I told him to knock it dead inside the 10, but he didn't listen to
Well,
me.
you've done that before. Brian Greasy used to do that when you'd get down there close.
And Brady, and we've had some success doing it.
Here's a big third down play on their first possession. They convert 3rd and 8, and then they go to the air again on a 3rd and 7 to their running back.
Well, Minnesota was leading the nation in third down percentage conversion, and they were outstanding again on Friday. And here is Marion Barber III,
he's the
Jim,
real deal.
He is a great back.
Yes, he is.
We don't help ourselves there with some missed tackles, but Barber proved to me that he is one of the finest backs in the country.
And Khaliq gives you another dimension where the quarterback able to run, make plays with his feet.
Well, Larry Stevens gets off a block there and saves a big play, tackling Khaliq on the option. There's no doubt Khaliq is as athletic probably as any quarterback will play. John scrambles away here, and Tyler Ecker has really begun to come on like we hoped he would. He gets better every day, and he and Andy Menery and Tim Massaquoi are giving us good play at the tight end position.
Chris Perry on a couple of drives here on a 2nd and 6. You get knocked off because you got a linebacker comes in unblocked.
Ran through the gap. We missed an assignment there. And then Khaliq makes a nice run here.
3rd and 7.
Miss. Not great speed, but a guy can really make you miss.
And here's another one where Khaliq makes a man miss.
Yeah, now, Jim, this is where it's designed to be a bootleg pass. His receivers cover. We got to play defended, and he just makes a great run. And here's a play that is not well defended. We're late getting up in support, and Barber takes it down inside the 15-yard line.
And then their young back, Maroney. This guy can run.
Well, they use 4 backs, and now we've dug ourselves a hole.
14-0. And the thing that's tough about that is you're on the road. It's like the worst thing that could happen, given what happened the previous week, is to be down like that. And you said at halftime you got mad a little bit.
Well, I did get mad because I didn't like the way we were playing, and I think we needed to wake up and play with some energy and realize that we only had 30 minutes left to win the jug.
Well, the Wolverines did win the jug in an incredible second half. Don't go away. We'll be back with those highlights. But first we hear from Lawrence Reed. Talks about winning, making that plane ride home a lot easier.
Now we can actually go home and feel happy on the plane and stuff, have a good time. But we know we got to come in Sunday and look at this film and get on some things.
Take this and run with it, and do my job to lead this team and give this team momentum and do my job.
Well, John Navarre certainly did his job on Friday against Minnesota. The second half, he was as good as I've ever seen a quarterback in college play under tough circumstances.
Well, Jim, he never started fighting, and his teammates. He had great pass protection. Here is a big play. 3rd and 2. We're going to have to punt the football. He scrambles out of there and picks up a first down. And then we start to get our screen game going. And when Chris makes a very nice run there and up the sideline, and now we turn to another passer on our team.
Well, you got the old razzle-dazzle going.
Well, we've used this play a few times. We haven't used it in a couple of years. And of course, we haven't used it with John. This is his first attempt, and he can tell Brady and Greasy and Henson and Dreisbach that he's the first guy to score on this play.
Well, that makes it a 14-7 game. You're back in it. But back come Minnesota.
Well, Harry dumps the ball off to Barber, and Barber makes him Marcus miss in the one-on-one situation, but he does turn it in, and then they get a first down.
They came up with a quick snap on that play, too.
Jim, they had a great scheme there. They huddled, they broke the huddle real fast on 3rd down, and got lined up and snapped the ball before we could get. Now here's another long play. When we watch this film, we're not going to be very pleased with some of the adjustments we made. However, we did get better as the game went on, but we gave up too many yards running, that's for sure.
Right.
Here, Lawrence Reed.
Great play.
Great play. I mean, just a smart football play that saved a big play.
And then here's maybe the only bad throw John makes, but you say the safety did a great job defending.
The safety made a great play there. Now, John had just missed. We had missed on a 4th down play, and then we had a penalty tacked onto that. And so now Minnesota takes it in, and we are really in dire straits.
You're down 28-7 is what you are.
It's not looking very well.
But now starts the comeback, and this is just textbook of the way you move the football.
Well, Steve Breston, Jason Avant, Braylon Edwards made some plays here in the passing game, along with the screen and the protections. And here John swings the ball out, and Chris picks up another 1st down.
And here again, John does a great job in the pocket.
Jim, that is a great football play. It's too bad we don't have the ability to run that back like a coach does and show it. A great football play he just made.
And here, a great block by Pearson.
And Lentz get out in front. Jason Avant went down inside. Braylon Edwards, a well-executed screen pass.
28-14 now.
We're at least making it close.
Right, and this is a huge play.
Leon Hall, the true freshman, made a great job, wrapped Khaliq up, and while he was in the grasp, he threw the football, and Jacob Stewart came up with the play of his life.
28-21, you go goal line, middle of the field, and then this.
No, it wasn't goal line.
Well,
it looks
what
like
was
it. It looks like it.
You had everybody on the line. You had no safety.
Yeah, I know. And so.
Okay, 35-21, but 11 minutes left. A lot of time, and this offense, the screen game continues to work.
There's Lentz out there again, and Avant, and Pearson, and Kelvin Bell.
And how about this 3rd and 10?
This was a big play, Jim, because we're going to have to punt, and that may have been all she wrote, but John came up with a great play and great protection.
And this is a great throw to get you right back in it.
Well, Jim, it's a great call, and it is great execution. Terry Malone and Scott Leffler made that call, and we needed to score fast here, and we did.
And then the defense stepped up. 35-28, you needed to stop, and Grant Bowman got you one.
Grant Bowman, Carl Diggs made the play. We get the football back. Steve Breston had a good return. And then Chris, we get the draw play for 1st down. And here again, John, good mobility. John throwing right on the money. Hits Braylon for another 1st down and great field position.
How about this catch?
Unbelievable. I'm gonna have some drills where I teach him to use 2 hands. But this Chris Perry is a warrior.
And I thought this a great call to tie the game.
Yes, it was, and well executed. Because if we don't get in there now, it's 3rd and long, down inside, tight the red zone, tough place to score. May have had to go for a field goal.
And here's a 3rd and 4. You had to get the ball back, and Marcus Curry just plays it as well as you can.
Jim, he's defending a guy that's probably 6-7 inches taller than he is. He got great body position, came up with a big play, and here we go. Chance to win.
Unbelievable. And it's one of those things where you get the ball with a chance to win, you go to the screen, this no huddle, it worked great in the entire 4th quarter, and you put yourself in a position.
Well, Avant made a play there, Chris made a play, and then Dame Fortune smiled on us, Jim.
Dame Fortune?
Yeah,
I like that.
We fumbled the football there. It's the only mistake I think Chris Perry made the entire game. And Tim Massaquoi was hustling and made a play. And how about this freshman, Garrett Reedus?
Kicked it through for a 38-35 lead. Now the Gophers are forced to throw in their last gasp effort.
It wasn't over, Jim, because Minnesota had a great field goal kicker. They hit one of these passes. They're going to have a chance to send it into overtime. But Marcus Curry came up with another big play.
38-35. The look on your face there was like, I just not sure I believe what just happened. And the jug goes back to Ann Arbor.
Well, Jim, I thought maybe you and Frank left the booth up there.
No. We hung in there with you.
Good you stayed with us.
We hung in there with you. I asked you this a little earlier. Did you ever think that a team could rush for over 400 yards on you and you'd win?
No, I didn't. And that's why, you know, truthfully, it's all about great competition. And Minnesota, that was a great football game, Jim. I would have said that had we lost. And it is a shame that a team could play that well and lose.
But it speaks to the character of the Michigan team, too. Again, the adversity of the week before, staying with it when you admittedly say maybe we were a little flat coming out.
Well, Jim, yeah. I mean, and all the things that we had to do, and it couldn't have been done without a fighting spirit, a fighting heart. And when you come down 21 and score 31 points in the fourth quarter, our defense, they struggled the entire football game. But the truth is, down the stretch, they made some big plays. They intercepted a pass at the end of the game. They intercepted a pass to get us back into the game. And they came up with a couple other stops that allowed us to get the ball back.
Well, it was a great victory, no question about it. 38-35, the final. Michigan beats Minnesota. When we come back, we'll look ahead to Illinois. They're next up. But first, we hear from Garrett Rivas kicking his first game winner.
Couldn't ask for anything better than this. You know, it just finished the story off for us. We had a great comeback in the second half, and my kick wouldn't even have been possible if it wasn't for the offense and marching down the field and defense stopping them. So, you know, just a dream come true.
We're a banged-up football team right now.
Well, the one thing that I know that you've got to do, and you've talked about this, you've got to do a better job against the run. Now, you might not see a team that runs it as well as Minnesota down the road, but you still have got to work on that end of the business.
Well, Jim, we want to run the football better, and certainly we can't give up the big plays that we gave in this game, and I think most of it, and we'll have to see exactly what the film shows, but most of it, the big plays came as a result of not getting people in the right position because of some things that Minnesota had shown us. But there's too many missed tackles in there as well, and those are things that we have to get short of.
The other thing you talked about a little bit was people forget maybe you got some young kids out there playing, some true freshmen.
Jim, I don't remember playing that many true freshmen in critical situations. At the end of the game, we've got three true freshmen on the field trying to stop Minnesota, Leon Hall and Lamar Woodley.
And the other thing in this game against Minnesota, the kicking game, which was everybody's concern a week ago, you did the spread punt once, then you went back. It looks like you spent time last week on shoring that up.
Well, we continue. It's a work in progress, and we still have some things that we've got to get ironed out. But I do think that Adam Finley is a very good punter, and we've got to have a way to protect him because he can be a weapon in a game.
Well, Lloyd, congratulations on an unbelievable victory. You deserve the smile.
Thanks, Jim.
You bet. Don't miss next week when the Wolverines take on Illinois in homecoming, and we'll be right back with all the highlights of that one. Join us next week, same time, same place on Michigan Replay.
Much got to be sick if you're a Gopher. How do you run for more than 400 yards and lose a game? Minnesota
24 to be exact.
It's impossible. Minnesota had a chance to go 7-0 for the first time since they won the national championship back in 1960. And as Sean said, they file out of the Metrodome just absolutely ill. They let it get away. Yeah. Credit to Michigan. They fought their behinds off.
31 points in the fourth quarter. That's crazy. Ridiculous. Still ahead, right?
Peyton Manning in Tampa Bay. Yeah, he looked like Peyton Manning back there.
That's a high compliment now.
Now, the first half, I didn't think he was Peyton Manning.
Who did you think he was in the first half?
I don't know.
Charlie Batch?
But I'll tell you one thing. Late in that game, I mean, he was outstanding. You know what would help John Navarre with all the critics?
What?
If he'd throw his helmet, if he'd say, nah, you know, if he just get mad, but, you know, he's always placid and he never shows his emotion.
Oh, he's not that kind of personality
No,
kid.
he isn't. He's not. So people take it wrong, like, oh, he doesn't care, you know. But that isn't true. Inside, this guy's a fierce competitor.
He cares a lot, and he made a lot of key plays. He showed some, I wouldn't call it escapability in the pocket, but he was able to avoid the rush, made the plays he had to, made the throws he had to throw. You have to give him credit, and you have to wonder, I think in your mind you're saying, ooh, how come he doesn't do this more often?
Well, you know, that's a tough assignment.
It is tough. I understand that, yeah.
And I think that he would be a much better quarterback if we, in games in which they're close and tough, we could run the ball better. I just think it would help him a lot if he could hand that ball off and know that these guys are going to rip off 5, 6 yards, and that would help him a lot. We haven't had, in the tough games, we haven't had that kind of running, so all of the burden falls right on John Navarre. You got to hit the passes, you got to avoid the rush, you got to do that, because if you don't, we can't run well enough to win.
And you must give credit last night. He had time. That offensive line gave him time.
That is about as good line blocking for the pass as you will ever see. He had all the time in the world, and he had areas to throw through. It was wonderful.
Do you marvel? He's a kid. He's not a highly paid professional. Do you marvel in a way at his ability to take all the knocks, yet come back and play and perform the way he did?
Yes, because, you know, he's taken a lot of criticism, and a lot of people have jumped on him. And you know, they keep putting up the graphic, well, he's lost 6 in a row on the road against ranked teams. You know, they go back through all these statistics. They didn't say a word about all the big games he won. But, you know.
And they also didn't say, as we'll talk about this now, you know what? The defense didn't exactly help out John Navarre and Michigan last night. So it's not his fault when the defense is allowing all this rushing and all these points. And now what? Jim Herman has had some marvelous defenses. He's a well-thought-of coach, great guy. He was a genius in '97 when they won. This must be driving him crazy. What does he do to solve this problem with the defense against the rush?
Well, this is what I would guess. Number one, he's going to sit in the room. They're going to grade all the players, and he's going to say to his staff, who are the best 11 guys we got? I'll start with that, because maybe we're playing some guys that we could have somebody else in there that's going to tackle harder and play better, and maybe we should make some personnel change. The second thing is, have we put our guys in a bad position against some of these plays? I would guess when they look at it, they're going to say, how could they get outside of us on all of those sweeps?
A lot of times.
Maybe
and here's another one right here as we look at it. Outside, nobody's there, gone, touchdown.
Well, that's the whole point. Maybe we're giving a little too much leverage there. We're getting locked inside with our inside guys. We're not supporting well enough in there, and we're getting blocked. And next thing you know, when they keep coming around there time and time again, there's something maybe in our alignment that we got to change. And so they've got to critically analyze what they're doing against the run. And once they do that, and then make a decision on how they're going to make some changes and do it, not major things. These are not big things. They're just adjustment. Now, you know the third thing they ought to do?
What's the third thing they got to do?
The third thing they ought to do is take 15 minutes every day and work on the most precious technique in defensive football, tackling. In the open field, in line, everywhere, I'm going to work on tackling. Now, I'm going to control it. I may not have to hit full speed all the time, but our men are just diving through the air and doing things that are just not sound in the tackling game. So that's what I think they ought to do. Work on tackling, take a look at your alignments and see if you're doing the right thing, and make sure. I always, when I stood on the sideline, Don, and I'm starting to get run on like that, I always look at that defensive coordinator and say, do I have my 11 best guys out there? Because that's what I want. When things get tough, I want my 11 best.
All right, we'll see what happens. Next week, of course, Illinois.
Colleen, Kevin, Brad,